Alright, so here we are, showing off the server before we restart. Gonna show off our humble beginnings, as this was spawn point. As we can see, it was the boat we came in on, and a shipwreck, the things we did and added to it. We've decorated, of course, made the map of the area. Technically spawn is a little more towards that island over there, but this is where we kind of said spawn would be. Over here is our shopping district and stuff, but that'll come later, and you can see some of the things around. But for now, we're going to show off our humble beginnings of the starter house. We were one of the few people who actually built a real starter house in this area. Our little garden that we tried to share with everybody. As it says right here, Wispy and Haro's starter house. Just a pretty simple design, nothing too out of place. We had access to brick real easy because of being next to the ocean. Using jack-o'-lanterns as light sources to hide as best we could without using too many torches. And coming out here. And then coming through the front door, it's pretty simple. There was more in here, but we took a lot of stuff down. But we were the first with an enchantment setup. We decided to let everyone use it. Used to be some lapis in there and all the basic amenities you needed. Our dock, that was one of my more favorite things to build, that we got saddles and other things and food for people and had boats. And we probably spent way too much time fishing because we just needed a easier food source while we were building a chicken cooker and other things. But this isn't technically what we did first. Our original life started down here. We basically dug into the side of a mountain and we created this, and we lived out of pretty much this room for probably about 2 weeks while we got our supplies. Oh yeah, there's the original. That's it. This was the last things I added down here before we technically left officially. But the chicken cooker, Wispy built that. We had a lava flower. Our secret gardens, because we were planning at one point to use mud bricks. We decided not to. Don't be afraid to add anything. There was a funny point, we didn't want to spend on fuel, coal and all that, so we had like 10 campfires over here to cook cod. And then this was our mine. It goes all the way down to bedrock. And the one thing I really want to show off down here is kind of the very last spot. We did a lot of work because we found this lush cave mixed in. So this was a lot of fun going through here. That's why we had glowberries galore. But the big piece of fun was getting down to here. Once we got to pretty much the bottom, we started strip mining in all the different directions. And one of these directions I basically turned into my spot where I killed a couple withers. And it's a big gaping hole with a bunch of iron golems. Which, fun fact, 8 iron golems can take down a wither.
Are they still down there?
But there are some still down there, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
If we can travel it, let's see. Do the jumpy speeds. I don't have a speed potion. Yep, here's the bedroom where we were doing all the stasis, and then we gotta go down here even farther because I had to make sure it was very far out of the way. Otherwise, one of the golems. Another golem.
I think some people were like, why do I see the wither bar? And we were like, don't worry about it.
And then here's all of my iron golems. We built more because we've had a lot of withers down here, and then one kind of got a little more loose than I would like, so we built more golems, hoping that he would die. But as you see, this became a nice little cavern. There's like 50 of them down here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got another one over here. I don't even know how they got here.
I think we put them there as like last resort defense.
Cat, what are you doing? You keep going or you going back?
I'm going back.
Okay. Yeah, at one point I had that full of milk, I think.
Yeah.
I needed the weather star. I really wanted the beacon. Yeah, we didn't go to the end until probably almost 2 months into the server, so I was itching for a beacon. Oh yeah. Well, that's the reason why I said if we're gonna migrate anything over to the new server for the fun of it, all I want is I want 16 shulker boxes, just enough to fill my inn chest and preferably my 2 picks. That would be awesome. Other words, I care nothing else. 1 pick would be fine. Give me my fortune. And that is basically the start of the home beginnings. This was all chest. This is why this is weirdly stair-steppy and everything. Our trash can, aka the cactus. But yeah, it was a good time actually. This was a really fun little starter base and had a lot going for it. I did like this area quite a bit. Eventually we decided to finally migrate, and we're going to do this by foot as if... Oh, the creaking. Run away. He's following you. No, dang it. Well, anyways, so at one point I built these little starter homes for people who were joining us randomly. And I planted some of these trees. So these little miniature starter homes, all the basics that you need. This was a thing I used to do in my old servers, and I just had a lot of fun building minimalist survival houses. This is actually one of my favorites because I just chose green and just looking, what can I use as green? And pumpkins and the bamboo and the moss. It's just such a cool little build, and the yellow I think really helps tie it together. And this one, just because I had the supplies on me, is just what I built. There's another one up here using different wood styles. This was our friend Donkey, his starter home, his start of a tower. Like he still has stuff even here. And then you see his tower there off in the distance. Oh, this one's the Monty. Okay, I know Grim is the one back there. This one here. Oh, that's right, he was turning it into a zoo. Yeah. We really give it the full diamond armor. It's a weather skeleton with full diamond armor. That's funny. Also kind of scary. Then we got some statues and stuff. This, of course, was many, many months into the server, if not even over 6 or 8. We started really decorating Spawn and making it look as pretty as possible. And adding all the effects and amenities for a starter person could want. This beautiful thing. This is our post office over here. We have a rice stand with suspicious stew. And coming over here, all the crops you could ever want and need. Got our checkerboard, which was a really fun thing someone did actually very early on in the game. Got my random villager statue thing that I saw online and said, I just want to build it. And now finally we're going to head towards the actual home. The Poppy Bandit over here got so cranky. Oh, we forgot to grab a boat. There's one. It's almost like I planned the boat. You in?
Yeah.
Now, originally we wanted to focus on getting places using boats, mainly because the chest boat was introduced. So we started looking, we came up with the idea to create kind of a swamp or bayou style thing, very Louisiana inspired. So as we come into our area, you can kind of see the secret if you're looking, but once you get up on it, it's hard to miss. And then right here, mango roots is our secret, ta-da, secret, ta-da. Which officially leads into the bayou. So this is basically where we started and all of its basic effects in this area. A lot of this stuff was built after the fact. The first thing we really built is over this way, which we'll show you in a second. But this was kind of a recreation of the spot we started at, because we had a bunch of chests and stuff down here.
Yeah, I think I built like a pin here first.
Yeah, it was like a pin that we started
It
putting.
was like over here-ish.
As I didn't terraform with any of the water, I kept that all the same. But okay. Because I know that we built a pen for some of the animals and stuff because we wanted horses to be able to go back to spawn. And then we built kind of into this mountain over here, or wolf cliff, and we put some beds and stuff until we built the actual house. And this was kind of where we started because we planted the cherry blossoms up here to kind of start having that wood. And then with all of our area, all we gotta do is follow the pathways, and you'll be able to get anywhere we need. I put a lot of boats and built a lot of different ship-like things going through the bayou. But we'll get to that in a little bit. So the firefly bushes are brand new, but we did use soul lanterns to light up this area, so it was easier to see and also less mobs. But, so you walk through this. This was one of the first pathways we made because we knew where we wanted to build the house. Originally, our tiny house was right here, and I built this over it. And that's because we were mining and we found a skeleton spawner. As we come this way, we come across the amazing mansion. And we have our stable right here, where we had all the horses. This is Wispy's doing. It's really cool. I like a lot of the subtle detail. It's just one, I think, yeah, light. I have no clue. So, I'm going to come back down here and kind of show off from the original way we wanted to come in. We wanted to be able to come in through the boat and then really take this swing into here and see Amazing Mansion. And of course, nothing is perfect, and that's part of the fun. We wanted to keep this idea that like the mansion was built out of the wood from like maybe a shipwrecked ship or pieces that were here, kind of like what would happen in the colonial age when people came to the United States originally, take apart boats and other things and build houses and stuff out of them. So we have our crazy wonky dock that I love to death. The first little boat I made, and before I learned how to actually make boats that weren't boats. Just the difference in all the types of wood going through the dock. My cool little bridge connecting these two areas together. This was a design I saw online and just slightly modified, but I really liked its simplicity. And it's big enough to let a boat go underneath it. Over here is our mine. We had a big chunk of rock just kind of sitting on top, and we made it look a little bit prettier and basically turned it into a mine going all the way down, which we'll explore later. But for now, we're going to look at Amazing Mansion and go inside. So, first thing was, I really liked this clock tower thing. Originally this was meant to be double the size, but I just shrunk it down because I didn't want to make my ending build super huge, because it's just the two of us, and we really didn't need all the extra space for no reason. More importantly, this was built within the first 2 months of playing on this server, and I was just wanting to get the build done for an in-game house. Most of the materials Wispy went and got, because when she gets in the mining zone, she can just be gone for hours. Coming inside, we have lovely paintings and our awesome map of the area. Up here is another player, I can't remember who it off the top of my head now. No, Cranky's back towards spawn. I guess Tomato. Then right here is Amazing Mansion and all the things, and this village over here is actually all us too. And then we have all the bayou that you see here. That is all us. And then right here is where we split off into where Knight's territory and Donkey's territory is. This was our board of things we need to complete, and there's a couple things on there we still haven't done. But this is basically where we lived for a long time before we even put stuff upstairs. Of course, we got some allies up there. We got plenty of pets lying around in our potion room. And then most of our pets in here. A lot of them are named after our real life pets. Up here is one of my more favorite things. I love my spiral staircases in Minecraft. And this is our library where we had our enchanting set up. So we have a high power enchanter and a low power enchanter. We had a third one in here, but we tore it down because we didn't think we would need a single enchanter. But we have a lot of bookshelves with the actual books themselves in it. And this goes up even to the next floor, where we were meant to make this some kind of like a lounge of sorts. It's meant to also be an elytra jump off point, but we realized we never really used it, so we just didn't try to decorate it per se. Coming down here, we have the painting hallway. This was meant to be the high value room where we're gonna put like armor stands and stuff, but we just didn't see a point in the long run because we didn't have enough things to go, oh, I'm gonna put this on display. And the few things we did were in here. My first pickaxe made out of diamond that got enchanted, it turned into a fortune. I always put one on display. Somehow somebody busted out a piece of glass. Someone's been here.
Yeah, apparently.
I don't think that was me either. But our bedroom and things that go with it. The cool thing is going up here now, you'll notice that up there it's all iron. That's because what's above us right there is actually the beacon. And this is the belfry to our clock that I was going to do like a Batman setup here and just decided never to do it. Maybe. Why can't we go down? I'm confused. I think it's because we're on the different server problem thing. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it night because I think it looks prettier at night. So that's pretty much all the upstairs and the fun of that. Now to show what made this place really our home, because a Minecraft home to me isn't just where you make it look pretty and where your bed is, it's where your storage is. And that leads us here. Welcome to the storage room. This is our junk boxes, where if we just have a couple things in our inventory, we just don't want to throw them in there to get rid of them later. Now, instead of using item frames everywhere, like a lot of people do, we go with the standpoint of putting the block below the chest to show this is what it's supposed to be. Some things get item frames to help us because we only need a chest worth of this or so. But as we go through, you can see all the different types, from the mud, mangrove stuff, the tough, deep slate, the minerals, etc. Weapons. This is full of bundles, but like crafting benches and different build accessories, things you just don't need a box for. Armor pieces and things. But this is a pretty expansive system that we have going on, and honestly we could use a little bit more if we weren't compiling as much, which I'll show in a second what I mean. Yeah, we have fireworks for days. But like right here, we have one chest for the majority of each wool, but if we go over to our terracotta, we kind of section it out, 2 rows of each, which out of all things, some of the terracotta and the concrete and stuff, we probably could use a whole chest themselves if we were building with it excessively. These are probably the most used as the tree boxes. The sand, dirt, and the different stone. Right inside here is our snowman. Hello, Mr. Snowman. He'll be in there forever and not die and have an existential crisis. Over here is my melon and pumpkin farm. Nothing too special. Simple as it is. This is our trash can. And then back here, this was the latest extension that we had to do and was a pain because there's water above us. And we built multiple smelting arrays and furnaces, and of course the lava dripper for a fuel source. All the fuel source. Whoosh, whoosh. I love our storage system in this place. So instead of going out the back door, we're gonna just go around the building. At night this place looks so much cooler. Put this cherry blossom in and made this spot look real pretty as it can be with the mud and stuff. This was very lonely and a derelict at one point, so we really had to add stuff to make it feel better. This was our crop farm, I would say it, for super dispensing. It just made life easier for when we needed stuff. Oh no, I fell in. Right here is my iron farm, perfectly just far enough away it can be active if we're close, but also close enough that we can do a lot of things with it. Hoping it'll kick in, but it's not daytime, so it may not. But it does work. It's quite awesome, and knowing that you're this close and it actually can kick in was very awesome. We wanted to be like this abandoned building look. I had this idea of something I saw because I was looking at architecture from like Central America and stuff, and Old West, and this building kind of came up and I just decided to build what I saw. We call this place the schoolhouse because that's what it looked like to us. It is our cactus farm and our bamboo farm. Doesn't get the best rates in the world, but it did get us what we wanted when we needed it. And that's all that mattered.
Oh, I asked for boxes earlier, so.
I was gonna say, I was like, there's like no bamboo in there. This tower was built to basically be a spot we could put down things like diamonds and redstone and let it fall. And underneath here, there's a minecart, the hopper, that would collect anything that was down there. And just for anything else, like here, I was bone mealing this flour. These ones are here specifically for the new cactus flower, just wanted to see if we could get them to grow, which they do. Behind the schoolhouse, I built this first. This was actually, I think, like the third build I ever put over here, was our bee farm. And I just had this idea to kind of like make a almost terrarium style house. Best way to say it, I think. And as you see, we just come in here with either bottles or clippers and get what we need, but it was really cool. I really liked it, and it was pink and pretty. Did you piss off a bee? Okay, you just randomly took damage. Oh. We thought we lit up the entire area properly. But I have been removing torches to replace them with firefly bushes since they give a light level of 2. So, enough of them around, they will stop most of the bugs. But we also wanted to get rid of bright lights and start rehanging soul lanterns and trying to hide them in little spots. Again, we wanted subtle light, and then when we were using it excessively, as you see, we used them excessively to brighten some things up. No, just because we wanted to keep, if you saw a soul lantern, it was a common theme. I see it. So, behind the house, nothing too special. My favorite thing behind the house, beyond the sniffer enclosure building, is actually our back door, which is the cellar door that leads back down to the storage. I just don't know why I love the fact of having a cellar in Minecraft. It's so weird. We have our little porch area here and the fake carpet, the grass carpet. You got the sniffer enclosure, where we had our original bees that we were breeding before we built the one over there. Yes. So like, let's build a new one. And then this building, which I built it for another reason, and then I abandoned the contraption idea. And then she said I wanted to build a wool farm, and I said, please, God, use this building. And it was like the perfect size for her, down to the point that it was literally a block away. So, our wool farm. Sometimes the builds don't have to have stuff inside to be pretty. They can just be a functioning building with a farm inside. So we're going to continue following the pathways here. We're going to circle back to the bayou. And by turning left here at the bayou, as we're supposed to, we will cross over the bridge. And then you can see out here, we have the ghost ship, which is our nether portal, which we'll get to once we go to the nether. And you see across the way a lot of the other builds, and you can see other things. And you would think the majority of this is multiple people, but only that treehouse over there is somebody else. That's kind of the last thing that's to be built on that side, and then that's Donkey over there. So it's actually a really cool area to see from, right here at the bridge. It just kind of gives like a skyline and everything. It's really pretty. And this is the pathway leading to the iron farm building. I don't think the golems are going to spawn in just yet. Oh yeah. Yeah, I got rid of that one, but I made it so this one you can at least peek in to go, is it working? There we go, now I can hear it. See, it works. As we come along down here, we wanted to put some iron here to show this was the iron farm, kind of tell this bit of the story. We have the pumpkin house. There's not much to it. We just, I wanted to build something folly, and I built a pumpkin house and never actually filled it with anything. Yeah. I was like, you know what, I just want to build a pumpkin house. After that, we follow the dock and the bayou line. And we come down here, and we have a little garden area to this house. This was a starter house idea I saw online. I just really liked the idea of it for a simple build, and said, you know what, I'm gonna build that. And I really liked this concept because like it was meant to have its own mind already built in. In fact, I told myself that next time we start over, I may end up rebuilding this starter house with its own personal mind. The downstairs is originally meant to be the storage, which actually has a really good space for storage. And then upstairs, because you always want your bed to be higher, it should be up here. And simple as it gets, you put a couple beds and a crafting table. But you also have this cool area here for outdoor porch. But yeah, I really liked this build. I did a lot of small tweaks and labors of love to make it kind of feel a little better, but I really enjoyed it. Every one of these houses on the bayou, I tried to build a boat accompanying to them as if, you know, this was their transportation, their car, if you will, type thing. And this was the boat I built for this house. As we circle around, I tried to really push the fact of telling a bit of a story, and coming over here you'll see this was a lot more bushy, and then I decided to actually make it a little bit more developed, and the standpoint of like this area over here being a cemetery, if it wasn't obvious, and different headstones and different spots, and you can even travel back further and see these ones are neglected. That's why they're a little bit more torn and farther back. But I just really liked this concept.
Usually there's like 500 frogs in here.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but okay.
And coming over here to this side of the dock, this leads up to the village, which we'll get to in a little bit. This is the one spot you have to either cross by boat or by foot. You can't just follow the pathway. But we come across here, and we're going to continue around the bayou. This pink boat goes to the pink house, what I call the Elvis house. It is really simplistic design, very standard America kind of suburbia pink house. But it may be tiny, but it is very efficient. It has everything you would need, and a little bit of decoration. We didn't finish this one off completely, but we did try with quite a few of the locations. Coming up here, we get to the treehouse. We have a couple different ways. You can take the water vader up by manually water vader, or just take the stairs or ladder. When I built this, we didn't have access to soul sand. So up here is the first balcony, and you loops around, and you can kind of see out. It's a really cool spot, and I really liked being this high up, and spent a lot of time in this location trying to get ideas of what I would build where. And this was the next area. I did have a bed in one of these corners at one point, but I, for some reason, removed it. But I really wanted to build kind of a tree house of sorts, and this was my answer to it. And to kind of give an idea of what it looks like from the other side. Let me see. Yeah. Well, poop dicks. All right, onward. What we done? Oh, that was a froggy frog.
Mm-hmm.
So right here, instead of having a thing going over the water, we wanted to be able to show that things would go over the water. We built a tunnel. The idea was that someone sunk a barrel to make a tunnel to go under the water so boats could still go over it. Which then led to this side. This is the Wispy Witch's hut. And the only way to get to it is to go through the water. The floaty. Like how you said it quietly, like you can hear us. There's a great bird.
It was right underneath. I was like, oh, don't be blowing up my stuff, please. I'll cry.
But like most of the other ones, it's a basic little survival build, just what you need to survive. She put a potion here because, you know, it's a witch's hut. She could tell you more than me.
Yeah, that's about it. I can't because
And to see it from this side, she even has like a little witch's hat looking thing on it.
it looks better at night. The idea was that it was like
Originally, yeah, it was like the only thing over here.
yeah.
But that's what started the build to keep going over here, which then takes us to the path that leads to probably my third favorite build I have on the server, and that is my Firewatch Tower. I don't know why I wanted to build this, but I just had this hankering idea in my head. I think I got mad because he had the tallest thing on the server, and I wanted to build something really tall. But
I think we were talking about fire towers a lot too.
no, I listened to a story about a fire tower, so maybe that's what it was. That's what it was. But I liked how far I could look out, especially with the new render distance that got implemented for PS5 edition of Minecraft. You can really see it. I don't have my... Oh, I do have my spyglass on me. Why is that not equipped? There you go. See, even he has a clock on there, too. Creeper face. Gas face. The crazy thing is, that's all bone blocks, people. He AFK'd 2 different bone farms, him and his girl, for weeks. So inside here, first off, you're going to notice this thing is actually built out of trapdoors, which is crazy, and I love it. It's such a unique design pattern, and I just really went to town with this to be a very simplistic kind of log cabin, a Firewatch style. You know, a room that's not really a room. If you've ever been inside a Firewatch, this is a very common thing, if not completely open concept. Just a basic table and chair, a lounge spot. This is meant to be the fridge or pantry. But we really want to keep the low light in here, which is why I use the copper bulbs. Let them oxidize, and I can always brighten it up a little bit if I want. But I just like the subtlety of the light. And then up here would be your extra storage, where you would put everything away for the season once you're not here. That way nothing would get to it. Just click. There you go. And then, of course, coming out of here. Now, if we were to brighten those up more, they would bleed out because, you know, trapdoors are transparent for light. So I've never had anything spawn up here, but every once in a while I'll come here and I'll just do that to one of them to kind of give it a brighten. Then you can really see things from a distance. You know, like I said, there's the spawn area still. I don't know whose house this is, but they have this cool tree house going on. Cranky's house on top of the hill. And then you can see a lot of the bayou from here. Look how pretty the bayou looks from this distance.
I was gonna say, now I can look at this house. The witch house.
Boop. Yeah, look at that. conduit. Almost done with the basic roundabout of the bayou here. But yeah, I do quite love this fire watch. In fact, again, another thing I thought about basically building and living out of on a survival world. So this was my A-frame Viking style house that I decided to build. This is of course the back. Let's head to the front. The massive fish that was caught in the bayou, the river monster. The Viking style ship, which took me forever to build because I was going off a picture of this and trying to recreate it. That was a pain in my butt to build. But it is a really nice ship. It has all the basic amenities, even a little bit of storage down below if you want to get down there and do it. And then coming inside the house, I'm going to try to get a view of the front real fast. There we go. Oh yeah, the chimney design, I really liked it. It's pretty simplistic as it gets. I had a second bed in here, but I removed it because I needed it for something and never put it back. But I was going to make this a little bit more gravitas, and we also thought a friend was going to be joining us on this server, and ideally was kind of going to be his temporary house, but that never happened. And then lastly would be going across, kind of going back towards the beginning. This, we call it the jungle house because it's mainly made out of jungle wood. Has its own little dock, and he doesn't have a boat, he has a raft. We just really like the idea that he had a raft where he killed predators. You want to sleep to get rid of the phantoms, go ahead. I really like this front porch area. I think it's a really cool, it gives a lot of dimension to this house. Very simplistic but roomy. Very good size. Nice, I did not. I cut into this cliff and kind of made a retaining wall type thing to make it feel like it has more of a yard. Mr. Creeper. We missed. So this is the boathouse. This is one of the few builds that I had in mind to build when we started this area. I wanted to build kind of this riverboat, tour boat, if you will. Very, as I like to say, Disney looking. And the fact that it belonged inside this boathouse. And then inside the boathouse, one of the things I really wanted was to make sure every boat possible in the game was in here. So there is one of every type of wood boat except for the pail, because it's the only one I didn't add because it was new, and it's actually meant to go behind me, and I gotta move the bamboo boat. Which leads us back to this area. And the secret tunnel under the bridge to our humble beginnings, where the Wispywoods starts. The what? Oh, okay. We'll head to the lighthouse first, then we'll head back here.
Let me go try it on first.
Okay. I mean, you have your own video too, it doesn't matter that much. So the lighthouse, we were going to expand out a little bit further back beyond the mine, and we figured, well, if we're next to the ocean, why don't we have a lighthouse? So, Wispy built a lighthouse. And using the end rods, of course, to be the light source and the center pole was a very good idea. I also like the fence gates more than trapdoors here because it helps the light bleed through it and give it a little more dimension.
I got it from another patio online. I'm just not sure where I got it from.
And then I'll go to the top and actually using a small redstone clock to rotate through. And of course the copper up here always being a great choice. But it really feels like a good lighthouse. I said tomato, or it's Toasty who was behind us, so just clicked.
Yeah.
Took me a second. Yeah, Toasty. It might be. It's been a minute since he's been on, so I forget. Going towards the boathouse or the skeleton spawner.
Okay.
That's the only thing I haven't shown off over here. So this house, which we didn't show off, I have another one of the riverboat kind of tour boats, if you will. And then this was originally going to be the boathouse, and I didn't feel big enough, so I just kind of turned it into a house. Because again, we had a small house here to, one, help kind of hide the fact that our skeleton spawner was here, but also we slightly lived out of it, but we kind of lived out of the bottom more for a moment before we moved everything over to the actual house. So this is the bottom of the skeleton spawner was, or is. It's not behind this wall right here. We were actually down lower when we found it. This is
Oh, okay. What is this?
a sugarcane farm thing, and this was to duplicate the firefly bush. Couldn't think of the word. This is the skeleton spawner itself, the kill chamber, and trident and all that fun stuff. I just made that.
What?
My trident's gone. Oh no, it's not. Okay, never mind.
I'll say I heard it in there.
I didn't hear the trident. Now I hear it. Okay. Woo-woo. Mostly I just built a new trident and put unbreaking and everything on it. So if we need to recover it, we can. Or repair it. Because the other one broke when I threw it. So that was the bayou and the basics for it. Only thing left to show you in the bayou-ish area would be the ghost ship. So before the pail was introduced, we had this idea. Who stole stuff off of our boat? Are you kidding me? The ladder's gone. Who is messing with our area, bro?
I thought we didn't have a ladder there.
No, we did. Oh no, you're right. We had an extra lily pad. Well, someone stole the lily pad.
Well, it's probably just not, when you hit it with the boat, it just, yeah, by accident.
But the pale forest wasn't introduced yet, so we used basalt and then the acacia wood because it was kind of gray. And we wanted this idea of this burnt, ghostly ship, and using the moss with glass to kind of be this glowing, ethereal sail. Admittedly, I wanted to make it bigger, but when I started to build an actual galleon, I realized it was going to be way too huge. So I shrunk it down to more of the shipwreck style ships, which is what you see here. And then to the nether we go. Is that your fault or someone else's?
No, not me.
Okay. So this is our our nether tunnel spot. We just wanted to make it look pretty and have a little bit of oomph. We made sure to have some storage in case we need to throw some things. But we really wanted to keep it green because we were on the green tunnel originally, and then that got changed. We were just doing cardinal directions instead of colored directions. We're one of the few people down this area, and then this is the actual hub. This leads back to spawn, and then everyone has the different cardinal directions of where they go. Because Donkey has to be extra, him and his woman. This is their spot. No, this is Donkey's. Say, I'll go to the portal and prove it. So, this is Donkey's Tower. I'm going to kind of show it off for just a moment longer. Yeah, there's the skeleton face. And you can kind of see the area all the way around. And if we look just a little bit this way, you can see my fire watch. And then over here is our other Bayou buddy. This is Knight's place. Knight changed jobs, so he didn't really get on this season a lot. But he still built a really cool boat to live out of in a house. I'll let him show off if he wants to show off. For now, I'm going to head back to the ghost boat. Bonk. So the only thing in the bayou left we didn't show off was a little center island. And we didn't want to get rid of it. I just felt it needed something on it. So we built another raft and made it look like someone was camping out here. Just again, more character, more of a story to tell. So now I think we're going to travel the bayou path one more time and lead you all to Amazing Village. Where are you at? Okay. Again, everything here is accessible by walking if you were to ever walk our area. Just follow the pathways. I made sure everything has a pathway. If it's not a wooden dock, it's literal path blocks, or it's obvious that there are blocks down to be a path. And now to the entrance of Amazing Village. We start with our Hobbit-inspired home here. It's a very simplistic design. It was kind of a random choice to... we'll start this next time.